My first core reader has given me his thoughts on my epic fantasy novel. In this episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what he said about my novel and what I'm going to be doing with the information that he's given me. Hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Alex Shagir, and I am an epic fantasy writer. Coming soon to my book called Breaking. It'll be releasing in a couple months, but until then, I'm going to be giving you information about the book and just providing my insights and thoughts along the way. So, this episode, I'll be talking about my friend Will, who sent me his thoughts on my book. Will is one of my four core readers. I have my wife, my friend Will, my friend Steve, and then my dad. They read through my book, and of course, as any core reader does, they give me critiques on how to make it better, what works, what doesn't, help me to be a better writer, and also make my story a better story. I've had people ask me before, and very. I think it's very good for them to ask me to challenge me on it. Can you actually trust, your close friends and your dad? Like, can you trust those people? And I'd say if you knew them, you would say yes, in a very good way. These people are very critical and will are certainly very honest with me on how to improve my writing if there's an aspect of it that doesn't work, that does. And so trust these people in my book. And what Will sent back to me is a clear indication that he is very much one of the core readers that I need for my book. So again, the goal is to make me a better writer and help my story be the best that it can be. And Will did exactly that. I was super excited with the notes that he gave me. He gave me good detailed notes, chapter by chapter, good summary at the end. We talked a little bit. I'm going to talk with him a little bit further about things, but very great getting his perspective on my book. He gave me praise where praise was due, and he gave me detailed constructive criticism where my book might have been lacking or needed improvement. Um, the things that were criticized, fortunately, so this is he's read my stuff before, right? But this is my first book that I plan on publishing, right? So this was kind of a big deal. I didn't tell him anything about the book leading up to this. I gave it to him as if he went into I went into a bookstore and bought this book off the shelf, not knowing anything about it, which is, I think, really great. Previously, when I was toying around with publishing certain stories or how serious my writings were in the past, I would kind of have him read it in bursts and get his feedback, and then it would kind of be scattered. This time, though, I gave it just the whole book to him and said, "Here you go, do with it what you will." Um, and so the things that he there was a lot that he could have that I was worried that he could have said negatively about the book, right? Obviously, worst case scenario is I send it to him. He reads it, sends it back, and says, "Hey, it's trash. I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's not this." I didn't think he would do that, but there's always in the back of your head, right? It's your work. How are other people going to see it? And fortunately, he liked the book. He enjoyed it. And the things that he criticized were things that were not, I guess you could just say, game changers or breakers for the book. There was nothing that he came back with to say, hey, um, you know, rewrite the entire thing, or no, this whole character does not work, or there was no grand things that needed to be changed. However, the things that do needed to be changed were very specific, gave specific notes. This is almost a tutorial on if you're a reader out there and you're trying to help someone, behave like Will did, do what Will did. Very specific and detailed notes on different aspects that could be improved upon. There were two, I won't say them specifically because I don't want that in your mind while you're reading the book to kind of catch things, but there's two very specifics that kind of go through the whole book. It's not that I have to rewrite the entire book, but there's a couple aspects where he pointed out that after he kind of revealed them to me, I noticed, oh, okay, this is definitely something that other people reading would pick up on, and could definitely be just take the book out of its element and really stand out to the reader. So I'm definitely going to go back and do some heavy editing on those portions, communicate what I wanted to communicate that obviously I didn't do well the first time around. And so, yes, very constructive criticism, being able to point out to me, hey, these things are lacking. Here's how they can be better. and then just give it back to me. And he didn't tell me how to do it. He just said, here's things that need fixing, if you will. And that's expected, right? It would be, I've talked a little bit in a past episode on what to expect from your core readers, and it would be very awful if Will just sent me back the book, or if any of my core readers sent back the book and said, hey, the book is really good, maybe read it a time or two, correct some like errors or some weird things that I underlined, but overall great job. I'm not that perfect, maybe close, but I'm not that perfect. So I was expecting kind of I was very happy with the amount of constructive criticism he gave me. It felt like a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very normal amount that a decent book would receive in order to get it to that state where it's ready to be published. So very thankful for Will and his thoughts there and helping me do that better. Now, what I will go into is a couple positives that he did say about my book, and I really, really enjoyed them because these are, even though I focus on every aspect of my book, obviously I try not to leave any portion hanging. A couple things that I really focused on that he seemed to really enjoy, that I was really thankful for. One of them where there were some intense scenes and moments, or these kind of scenes where I tried to build up to something almost existential, if you will, some type of like figure or thought that I really wanted to stand out about a character. These kind of grand epic, fantasy moments. And he made notes on a few of those and said, "Hey, really liked this scene here." And your comparison here, or the look that you gave to this person, whatever it may be. And so that was really I think a good compliment to me, where these scenes that I wanted to come across as very very grand, very epic, very communicative to the reader of this character, this portion of the story, got across to him. And again, not giving him any notes beforehand, on the story or anything, just letting him go in blind, was really fantastic to hear. So that made me feel really good as the writer for this book. And then I talked about this in my last episode on epic fantasy authors who have influenced me. The most important part for me is the payoff for the story, because that kind of captures everything, right? The character story arcs, the main story of the book, the feel of the book, just everything. It kind of captures, it's all encompassing. And one of his comments at the end was, hey, like these last, I think he said like half dozen chapters or so, where you kind of are wrapping up the story. You answer a lot of questions. A lot of questions that you ask towards the end get answered, or that you make the readers ask get answered. And yeah, basically he said that the book had a great ending. He really liked how it culminated together, and it had a good payoff, which is fantastic. That's what I'm going for. I was probably the thing I was most nervous about, because I knew he would have things to talk about through the book that could be improved, right? But then at the end, I was really worried that he would come to it and say, hey, it fell flat. It didn't do it for me. What the heck's going on here? How does this not tie in? I'm sure there's a couple questions he had, going through the book that I don't know if I'll answer in this book or a future one, but overall, the ending, he said, came together very nicely. And that's what I want, right? I want someone to read my book, get to the end, and say, wow, that had a good ending. Even if it doesn't blow your mind out like maybe the end of some of Brandon Sanderson's books do, and I want to get to that point at some point. Will is a very much an epic fantasy lover and reader. He loves reading books, knows the ins and outs of them. He's a perfect core reader for me. And getting to the end of it, and him telling me, hey, ending is good, you did a good job, was fantastic. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share with you a little bit, a couple perspectives, kind of give my insight to you on what I do with the information my core readers give back to me. I'll probably be covering what my other friend and what my dad give back to me, and how I kind of work around those. But I wanted to cover this one because Will was the first one to send my book back to me, and give you insight on my thoughts on what happens when I look through those notes, what I'm going to do with them, and also get you excited for my book. One of my core readers, who is very critical of my writing, enjoyed it. And so I hope that means that epic fantasy fans all around the world can read it and enjoy it as well. I'm sorry, I'm talking my hands a lot here, I realize. But so got me excited for it, and I hope it makes you even more excited to open up my book and read it when it comes out. And again, I mentioned it at the beginning, but I'll do it now. It should be coming out within another 2 or 3 months. And I'll let everyone know when it's available to pre-order, when it's available to order, and you can read it yourself. So yeah, thank you for watching this episode. Please give a like. A like helps a lot. I know that watching this whole episode is great as well, but wherever you are on your computer, most likely on your phone, give this video a like. Helps a ton. Leave a comment too if you want to talk about something, or if you're a little bit shy, don't want to put your stuff out on the internet, as they say. Go ahead and go to my website. You can submit a contact form and message me, and we can talk about whatever you want. Again, I prefer fantasy, but whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.